All right, so man, oh man, has it been a while. Feel like I haven't worked on this thing in forever, but you know, cold weather, what can you do, right? So anyway, back on the Loadstar today. Hopefully we can get a few little things done. You know, I'm gonna shoot for that, but what we got today is, I know we put the driveline in, kind of got some measurements there to see about cutting the driveline. So still gonna do that, but I went ahead and robbed this cross member out of the lopro. So this is the one that the carrier bearing of the driveline bolts to. So I'm gonna try to stick it in the frame rails of the Loadstar, you know, kind of in front of this other cross member that's on here, and see if we can't get it to kind of line up with this plate that's on this carrier bearing. I'll pull you in here a little closer and kind of show you what I'm talking about. So this carrier bearing, this is on the driveline that came out of the lopro. So it's got this plate, got a couple holes drilled in it that match up to this cross member. So hopefully that'll give us some adjustment. You know, we can drill a new set of holes in this plate, and then if it's sticking up too far, we'll cut off the excess. But kind of right now, what I want to do is get this into the frame rail, kind of where we want it, that'll line up with this plate. You know, just flush up, not really line the holes up just yet. We'll match our angle and then drill new holes. But first thing, just want to get it in the frame rails, mark the holes that need to be drilled. You can see there's holes in the side of this cross member. So we'll get those lined up and drilled and get some bolts in those. And that way we can bolt this plate up, and then we'll get our driveline angle kind of what we want. Drill the holes, bolt it in, that way it's set where we want it. And then we can always, you know, redo this, you know, drill more holes, move it up and down, whatever, to kind of finalize a good angle for the driveline. But I want to get that in, then that way we can get us a good, decent measurement for the rear driveline. So let's see what we can do about getting this thing put in these rails here. I know I'll probably never reuse this brake line, but I hate cutting that big long piece. Let's cut the piece that's already cut. I know I picked the best tool to cut this with, obviously. I don't even know what those wires go to. Alright. So I'm thinking this plate can be flipped either way. So do I want the cross member on up here on this side of it, or do I want it back here? So if I go back here, I don't know if you can see or not, this exhaust hanger is kind of in the way if I put it up here. So technically, I could kind of go on this side of it, and I guess that'd be okay. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Let's get these air lines out of the way. Yeah, I believe that'll be okay. Got this little hanger right in the way there that was a little clip for those wires. I bet that won't screw out of there, but we'll try it. Wow, that thing come loose. All right, so right there's about where it'll live. I think that'll be okay. That way I don't have to fool with trying to move this thing. If anything, I can cut the bottom out if needed for clearance, just to not have to worry about taking it out. So that'll go somewhere like that. And then, like I say, we can adjust the height, get it where we want to, and we'll mark and drill the holes to bolt that down. Then we might have to clearance the top eventually for whatever bed and stuff kind of goes on here, but for right now, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I think that'll work good. All right, so 19.5 inches from this cross member. Well, that's close. I'm off by 1/8 of an inch. And I was just eyeballing that. Sweet. So now I want to square it up and down. You know, I mean, it can kind of twist forward and backwards. So I'll put a square in here if I can. And if not, we'll just measure off the top edge. See what that looks like. Maybe off a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna call that good enough. So let's mark our holes. And I'm gonna have to drill it from the inside, looks like, because I don't know, try to drill a hole or mark the hole, transfer it to the other side, and then try to drill it. So we'll just stick the mag drill on the inside. I think it'll be the easiest. Well, I had a few minutes outside with no rain, so it's raining now. So this here, and I don't know if this is going to work or not, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to screw these casters down so to give me something to lay my drive line on, and I can rotate it freely. And then we will grind the end off, and then we'll cut it. So hopefully I can kind of make my cutoff wheel sort of stationary, rotate the drive line to get a fairly straight cut. Is that going to work? I don't know. Maybe, probably not. But once I do that, then I can put the cup back on the end, or the yoke, whatever you want to call it. I can kind of spin it and make sure it's pretty true. You know, put me a straight edge out here, make sure it's pretty straight. Put a couple tacks in it, then weld it up. And that way I can move the truck around. This is not going to be a permanent fix, but I just want it to be able to move it, and then we'll get us a good, nice drive line whenever we get the truck ready. So at least this way I'll be able to move it around once I get to that point. And it's raining, so can't really be outside doing anything. So we'll just do this. It's also screwing down into this workbench too, so maybe that'll help. Now this one's a swivel caster, and there's a swivel one there, so I'm hoping that won't affect anything where I got one at each end. I don't know. We'll see. So now, a little rough, but it's probably the drive line. I just cleaned the wheels off a little bit, but I don't know, you can see them flopping around. I don't know if that's all right or not, but this yoke over here is going to be flopping around unless I kind of maybe duct tape it to where it ain't moving, because I don't really want to take it off. But believe that'll be okay once I clean the drive line up so it'll roll smooth. I'll grind this weld off that holds this little end piece. It slips down inside this tube. I'll grind that enough where I can knock that off, clean it up. We'll cut this tube back here somewhere, slip that piece back in, weld it up. So I'm hoping this works. I don't know. There's probably a better way to do this. It's just what I kind of come up with in my mind. Not bad. I believe that'll work. I couldn't find anybody local to do this. I know I can haul it off somewhere, you know, take it somewhere, but just me trying to get it done quick, this is going to be the easiest way for me to be able to move the truck. So we don't care if we lose a drive shaft. We got another one laying out there we can use, so we'll try to make this thing work. But yeah, I believe this will get us there. So let's get to it. All right, so I've done a little bit of measuring, and it looks like this end here, I guess for the yoke, I'm not sure what these are called, but the yoke maybe. It looks to be about 3 inches. I've not ground the weld off to see actually where the seam is yet, but if that's 3 inches and kind of the measurements I've taken off the truck so far, it looks like I'm going to have to cut 19 inches out of this drive line, which may seem like a lot, but it seems pretty long still, so I think it'll be all right. I mean, we'll look at it when we get done, but first things first, I'm going to go ahead and grind this off and kind of see what we're working with here on this yoke. And then we'll kind of remeasure everything again. And if it comes back out to 19 inches, we'll cut 19 inches off of this and stick this back on. And we'll try to get everything squared up, you know, make it nice and even. You know, again, it's not going to be perfect, and this is not for the road. This is just for me moving it around here. And get this thing finished. So let's get to it. Alright, so finally got that thing off of there. I ground a little bit excessively in here maybe, but oh well. Still good back here. It'll slip up on her and center itself, so we'll have to just make sure everything's squared up good, and we'll fill all that back in with weld. But like I say, this is not permanent in any way, so inside the drive line, got that cardboard in there. I guess that helps with sound maybe, or like vibration. I don't know if it helps with vibration, but maybe noise. I don't know. I don't know what that's in there for, but it's in there. So I'm going to take a couple measurements here, and I'm going to take a couple measurements here, and we'll see where we land and make sure that like I say, 19 inches is correct. So we want to make sure this is right. We don't want to screw this up right now, so I'll go ahead and get me some more measurements and mark this thing and cut it. Let's do it. So checked on my measurements. Looks like right there is where we're going to be cutting. So that's 22 inches from there. 19, counting this thing stuck on here. So I've measured it several times now and should be right, so who knows. I'm going to try to set my angle grinder up here and hold it as steady as I can and kind of cut this thing off. I don't know if that's going to work, but that's what we're going to do. So let's get after it. Oh well, good enough for me anyway. So this is me phasing the drive line. Yeah, it's not going to be good, but we don't care because I forgot to do any measuring before I took this thing out. Now, if I had a concrete floor, might could do it that way. Seems like I've seen that done before. I'm gonna say that's close enough. Our measurements are still right. So now we need to take some measurements of this. Try to get it somewhat straight. It's never going to be straight though. That's closer. So that's really close. No, this is going to be a little crude, but let's see. Yeah, I think that's off. Just with my tape measuring skills. That's a little more manageable. I mean, how close does it really need to be? And is what I'm measuring off actually right? Alright, so according to my sledgehammer, my roofing square, and my tape measure, that's perfectly straight. So this should be balanced, perfect, no need for none of that. So yeah, I'm sure. We'll be lucky if it don't fly apart in the truck when I put it in there. So anyway, let's put a couple of tacks on this, and maybe a little bit of a weld. We'll stick it in the truck and see if it fits. So let's do it. Huh. I know what's wrong with it. I bet that's the grounding clamp from my plasma cutter. Yep, it is. Genius. I'm going to say that's close enough. I am still super impressed with this thing. It's amazing what these mag drills do. I mean, yeah, there's just no way I could do this without it. But yeah, got these holes drilled. So I'm gonna throw the cross member in. We'll see if that thing lines up, and stick a couple bolts in it. And then we'll see about trying to figure out this driveline angle. Again, like I said, it probably had to be adjusted, so I may just throw a clamp on it and see what it looks like. But we'll stick this driveline in, see what it looks like before it gets too wet out here. It's starting to rain pretty good right now. All right, so drive line's in. You might can see there I need to put the carrier bearing, like the bracket's not bolted in. Still sitting on the ratchet strap, but getting too rainy out here for me. So you can see this is still loose, needs bolted up. Drive line's in, I didn't tighten it up. I got the straps on the cups and stuff there. It's got the bolts loosely set in this cross member, but she's in there. I'll probably notch this cross member out a little bit more to get some clearance under here. You can see how close it is. And try to get that bolted in and get a good angle. This thing needs to come up, you know, and it's going to hit right here. So yeah, anyway, it's in. We're making a little bit of progress. Yeah, so yeah, we got the drive line in, cross member in, loosely though. I mean, they're not bolted in, but it's in place, so I'm pleased with that. If it quits raining, next day or two, I'll do a little bit more work on that, but at least we're making some progress. So yeah, cut the old cross member a little bit, give some clearance, get the carrier bearing lined up, centered up, drill some holes in that, bolt it in. And I know it ain't got no brakes, it ain't got no steering, but it might move under its own power. We'll see. But yeah, so anyway, we'll continue on this here in the next day or two. So for right now, let's get out of here and go on something else.